This SMG interview is presented by Bob Cajun Brewing Company.
Hi everybody, I'm Mike Valente and I am here with Gwen Elliott. Gwen, you're such an interesting person. You've worked in television. I love how you're already laughing. It's true, you are an incredible person and an interesting person. You've worked in television and broadcasting, you've been in the tech world, you're also an entrepreneur. Give us an overview of who Gwen Elliott is.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna start with an easy one.
Okay, well, I would say in terms of career things, I've liked to call myself a mediapreneur. So I've merged a career with media and marketing and entrepreneurship. But practically, by day, I work as a course producer at Shopify. So I help to create online courses for entrepreneurs. And I'm also a side hustler, but I'm working on different side hustly things right now that are in development.
Fantastic. It's always good to be in development. That means you have things coming up that you can look forward to, right? So Gwen, we're both graduates of Ryerson's Radio and Television Arts program, the RTA program. Do you remember what you felt like when you first graduated from university? And I don't mean right at convocation when they handed you the degree. I'm sure that was a very joyous moment, but I'm talking about that first September when there was no school anymore, right? How did you feel about entering your career at that point?
When I graduated, I put all the rest of my student loan money and all the money I had into an internship. And I went to MTV in Santa Monica and had this crazy cool opportunity at the end of that internship to work at the Oprah Winfrey Network at an entry-level job. And I had always dreamed of working at the Oprah Winfrey Network and thought, this is the dream job I always thought I would get.
It is Oprah.
It was Oprah. And I did the interview, I totally thought I crushed it, totally didn't crush it, didn't get the job, so went from the couch at OWN back to my parents' couch in Beaverton, Ontario.
Beautiful Beaverton. You just put them on the map.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Not just me, there are many others.
Of course.
Let me get back to you. Sorry, everybody.
You're drawing a blank of who else is from Beaverton. Yeah.
That's terrible.
No,
but
it's okay.
Anyway, so then I didn't know what to do. And actually in the September of the first year after graduating, the first job, I couldn't even get a job in media. I couldn't figure it out. So I worked in a restaurant. I worked at a place called Houston Steaks and Ribs as a hostess, which I just walked by the other day, and it was closed.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, was that a cheap plug? But no, they're not even in business.
They're out of business, and I was a vegetarian at the time, but that was the only job I could get, and just, in a way though, it was kind of strategic, because I thought, at the time I thought I wanted to host a TV show, and I thought, okay, if I can't actually host a TV show, maybe I can host people at a restaurant, and then realized that the clientele were not who I wanted to hang out with all the time. So I decided to work at a nicer restaurant and applied at a white table, beautiful restaurant, and worked there. And it was a lot of media people came into this restaurant, and I actually got my first big break in media when a former boss from the CBC came in and saw that I was seating people at tables, and she said, I think I might have some opportunities for you at the CBC, reach out to me. And I did, and I got my first TV job.
There you go. And if we fast forward a little bit, because you and I are friends, you did have a realization working in TV where you saw the kind of path you were going down, and you said, I don't want to be an executive producer of a TV show. And then you kind of transferred into the tech world. So talk to us about that kind of transformation.
Yeah, well, I definitely got really scared when I was working in TV because I realized I didn't watch TV really the way that 8 p.m. on Thursday, I wasn't there. I was there at 2 a.m. on a Friday or something. And I just got scared. I didn't want to become an executive producer one day. And I was like, what else is there? I always thought it was TV for me. And just realized in some of the TV shows I worked on, there were a lot of entrepreneurs doing really interesting things. And I thought maybe some of my skills in media could be transferable to the tech world. And so I decided to apply when I saw this really cool position at a company called Shop Locket as a community manager. And I applied on a whim and ended up getting the job. And that was my first steps into the tech world.
Now, as I said, we're friends, right? Can you confirm that for the cameras?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Thank you so much. But whenever we chat, it's usually very positive and a real conversation. And we often talk about work-life balance and finding happiness in your life. So there's almost two schools of thought. Are you happy because you're successful? And then the other thought is people say, well, no, I'm successful because I'm happy. So where do you kind of see finding that work-life balance and how that defines your happiness in one's life?
Ooh.
That's pretty deep too. Where's Oprah? Is she here?
I mean, you're channeling Oprah right now. Great work,
The
Mike.
biggest compliment I think I've ever received. I'm
I got
channeling
more.
Oprah.
But I appreciate that question because I used to be really driven by having a specific job title or like achieving something. And then when I did, like a few years later, get to produce a show that got picked up by the Oprah Winfrey Network in Canada, and I didn't feel that sense of like joy and fulfillment that I assumed I would get, I was like, I think I need to figure out this work-life balance, like achieving mentality. So right now, I really don't try to put any pressure on myself to find happiness from my job. It's something that we have to cultivate internally. And I've learned a lot of different things I never thought I would, like meditation, or right now, I'm really into things like Reiki or like essential oils and things that calm you down and ground you and make you feel like more centered so that you can actually know how you feel and make adjustments based on how you feel.
Right. You're working at Shopify right now, you mentioned. How's the job going? Is it everything you kind of expected? And have you kind of found that peace with what you want in your career, at least at this point?
Yeah. When I decided, I was a full-time entrepreneur, but decided that I wanted to rejoin a team because I discovered that I'm 90% extroverted according to one test, and the way I set my business up, I was very alone, and I was like, this is not for me. So I decided that alignment is my number one goal, and I started to live in alignment, which to me means how you're trying to feel the best that you can. And once I just focused on that, instead of just randomly applying to any job I found, like the Shopify job as a course producer, like it popped up. Like I went to the site, it was the last day to apply, and I was like, that's the job for me. So this is honestly the greatest fit for a job I've ever felt.
Wow.
I feel like I'm in the right place, doing the right work, doing work that is like all my past life experiences. And also like the future of online courses is huge. It's $1 billion industry. I feel like everyone should have their own online course. So I'm amazed, and I want everyone to have this feeling of loving their job and then also loving their life.
Gwen, you're wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.